What is up, everyone? It's Wake My Light. Today, I want to show you a little something. It's my 18 Plaguefall that we did. Now, we didn't time this, but I figured this would be a good one to really go into some commentary, especially now that I've started doing a bit higher keys and stuff. I thought this would be a good one to kind of go through like what I do. This is from last week, so Fortified, Spiteful, Volcanic, but I think it's still a good one to kind of like go over. Plaguefall is one of those like harder dungeons, whether it's Fortified or Tyrannical. Tyrannical obviously is still rough, but we'll just go ahead and get started. So one thing to note, obviously, right? I am playing with a paladin. Does great. I'm playing with a few friends here and a few pugs, but so most times what you'll see here is you'll see it for when you're pushing keys, right? You'll see the big guy pulled in with the first pack. Really good use here. So here I actually PI the druid, right? So I power infusion the druid because the druid CDs are usually a bit more powerful than like say a hunter and stuff. Looks like I made it now. I've done the best one. If I was to go back, I probably would have PI'd actually the mage. The mage getting PI helps get their CD down faster because they can get more spells out, more crits, more flame strikes, that kind of thing. So generally in a group like this, right? Generally who you want to PI, like we've discussed before in a few of my other videos, hunters are a good option. Their true shot aura lines up perfectly with power infusion. Mages are also really good. And then on bosses, your druids are really good. When they're in their not because they don't get benefit from during convoke from PI, but they do get benefit from their celestial alignment and whatnot, right? So next, pretty much what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the outside here, I believe, if I remember right. This was last week, so you know how it is. So biggest thing here, honestly, there is gonna be a lot of AoE damage that goes out during this. This is also like from my stream, so there's gonna be some chat and everything here, guys. But there's a lot of AoE damage that comes out during these especially these beginning packs. So one thing to make sure of is you try to get your atonements out before that damage comes out on everyone, just to like have a good blanket during that part. Another good thing to do too, especially during Spiteful weeks, is unless there's only like one Spiteful going out that your hunter can trap or you can CC and stuff, don't be afraid to throw your Purge of the Wicked out there. Don't be afraid to damage those guys and try to kill them and try and save your DPS a bit. And use your Shadow Word Death liberally. That's one thing I've been trying to focus a lot more on in dungeons, is using my Shadow Word Death more often. Because it just hits. It can hit for 4, 5, 8K sometimes, right? So it can do quite a bit of damage, and if you can snipe those Spitefuls and stuff, that's huge, right? So here, as you see, right, there's a lot of damage that's going out, that kind of thing. I don't use my PI on CD, even though I should. It's just a mistake of mine. But generally, the beginning part of this dungeon is pretty easy. This week during bolstering, it can be a little bit difficult, especially with the slimes. So you have to watch out, especially doing Plaguefall, pulling a bunch of slimes and that kind of thing. It can actually be like pretty bad. So just be careful there. Here you can actually Mind Soothe the guys on the side. You actually see me do that right here. It's just to be safe. You don't have to. You can go right down the exact middle, but generally you can Mind Soothe on the sides, and then you just make sure that it's just easier for your team not to get in there. Here you see the paladin go in there. He pulls most of the slimes. You want to try and generally you want to use an Arcane Torrent. I did a Mass Dispel. This is just to try to get rid of some of the slimes, but it looks like they weren't getting rid of those debuffs, so I just said screw it. Use your Mind Seer liberally, especially in parts like this, right, where you just have a ton of damage that you can do, and everything is stacked up. Mind Seer is not target capped, so you can actually, because it's not target capped, you can get a lot more you can get a lot of damage out there that's consistent on everything that you're attacking, right? So like we see here, just continue hitting those Spitefuls. Try to stay as far back. I try to time it so that I can do a fear, because you can fear them. You can also use your Shining Force to push them back. So use all the tools at your disposal. These guys don't do a lot of damage, so try and just get as much damage as you can on these big belchers. And obviously, don't stand in front of them. They have a huge cone that goes in front of them. I think it's like 30 some odd yards or something. And don't be afraid also to help with keeping the slimes away from this guy. The slimes will heal it and make it do more damage, and it's just not a good time, especially on a fortified week. Thankfully, it's not like, you know, enraging or something. So here we pop Prideful. We'll kill Prideful. When you get up to these like higher keys, one thing to keep note is that your DPS do have to use CDs on these guys. You can't get away with not using CDs. It's the Prideful start hitting like crazy, so you need to keep that in mind when doing this. Also keep in mind too that when you're in the middle of doing Pridefuls and stuff, try to line up your Pridefuls as you see what kind of what we're doing here, right? Where you see you kind of see this diagonal going here, right? You want to try and line it up. So I'm not doing it all that great. And you also see here too that like we're struggling really hard on Prideful. This is, you know, I've used my Rapture. I've just now popped my barrier down. I'm struggling, right? But you know, your goal should be to just keep everyone alive. Screw your mana. That's why I like using your Arcane Torrent and stuff constantly throughout a dungeon is a good thing. It gives you that little bit of extra. Don't be afraid to use your mana pots and stuff too. I've started to do that myself, as well as keep healing potions. This guy's pretty easy, so I used PI on, I don't even know who. I didn't really pay attention. But on a non-tyrannical week, this guy is pretty easy, right? CC one of the big slimes, keep all the other small slimes away, and just burn him as much as possible. I'm pretty sure I PI'd the mage, but I'm not 100% sure. But you just need to pump damage into him. You know, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, penance, all that stuff. Just do the damage, right? As you see, this guy pretty much falls over even on 18. Our DPSs are they're doing pretty good, right? So we're gonna come down here. So we actually wipe a little bit here. Move it back a little bit. Sorry, I was trying to skip ahead, but see how that went. So we kill this guy. Pretty sure there's a fast forward type. Or I could skip forward 10 seconds or something without having to just click on it. But you see I just pop out my Sky Goal and we go down here. So here, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, we pretty much just pull the small guys and the big guy. Or we just do the small guys, one of the two. Looks like we just do the small guy. You can use these canisters to help kill the adds with. So that's one way to help try and like save some time and use your environment to your advantage. So here we use the canisters, do big dam on it, get your Purge of the Wicked out there, that kind of thing. This guy, the Spinebreaker, just make sure not to stand in front of him. Not all that bad. I'm pretty sure actually I die to this spike. Or nope, I don't. Never mind. I know I die soon to here. I don't know from what though. So here, this would have been a good time to get. So I Shadow Word Death. You see, I do an 8k Shadow Word Death there. Really good use. Just save your DPS a little bit, even if they do despawn. You know. So okay, so that's what happened. So here we see the tank die. He just took big hits. I probably could have pain supped to try and save that. But then he comes, he demolishes the Druid. Druid comes back. I pop Rapture for safety here, and just get Rapture or get a shield on everyone that I can. Focus heals big time into Big Boy. And then here we see, you know, Spiteful hits one of our mages, 3/4 of his health, just demolishes himself and goes from here. And it looks like the canisters actually also work on Spiteful. Good to know. Here we do a double pull, right? Because one of those things actually pats. So here, I'm pretty sure this is a double pull. And this, I believe, is actually where we wipe. We actually lose a bit of time on this one. Yep. So the tank dies just from like sheer damage. Those bolts and everything just truck people. And like as you see here, right? Fortified weak with all this, like those bolts are just insane. Unfortunately, you spawn back at the beginning, so there goes that. That kind of sucks, but what can you do, right? So come back, pretty much kill those guys. We come back, and then we go do the rock, and then we use the back alley here to continue the dungeon. So kill a rock. Wow, okay. Like, yep, so here we go through the back. He pulls the spine breaker and the two guys here. We go in for the kill. We actually also have Prideful here, so we did kill Prideful during that. I know, I skipped over it. My bad, guys. I mean, a lot of you guys probably know these dungeons and stuff. The biggest thing that I can say is, like, don't be afraid to use your PI and don't be afraid to use your stuff. You see that, you know, I do have it up right now and everything. I probably should have used it on the Hunter at that point. You know, I do have misplays. I'm human, you know. But don't be afraid to use your don't be afraid to use like all your CDs during Prideful, right? Because the thing is that once you have Prideful, you can use Shadow, you know, spam your Shadow Mend. The goal should be to not use any cooldowns after when you have the Prideful buff. When you have Prideful buff, you have infinite mana, right? So you want to use that mana because otherwise that mana is just wasted. So just Shadow Mend spam, penance, all that kind of stuff, right? Try not to, like, unless you absolutely have to survive a boss mechanic or something, try to save your CDs for after when you lose your Prideful buff. That's probably the biggest piece of advice I got from a few other Disc Priest streamers and stuff, is especially like Automatic Jack, is not to use your Rapture, not to use your Barrier, that kind of thing. Not to use it when you have Prideful buff, unless that's the only way to survive, right? Because that Prideful buff is pretty strong, right? You have infinite mana, so why not? And you know, as you see on Fortified weeks, this trash does truck. It hurts. You see here, I used a Shining Force there because that dude was gonna attack me. I shot it back. And then I just let it like do its thing. I don't have to look back because by the time it would even get close to me, it's dead, right? It just goes away. So here you can use that thing on the Blightweaver. You see his health is just dropping like it's hot. That's purely from the canisters. So what you can do here, we try to do it, but they freeze them instead. But you can actually take these adds down here that blow up. You can take them down, pull these guys, stack them, and you can actually use those canister bombs to damage them. So as you see here, like on that guy, right, we actually were able to get the canisters off on him, and you save yourself so much time. So even if you could do like a double pull, right, you pull those guys down, like if you have a DK or something, pull those canister guys down, and do a double pull with those two packs from on the left and right, be huge, right? So here we see a congealed slime. Congealed slime during this should be your priority target if you're going to damage anything, because he has a damage reduction aura for things around him. So try DPS him as much as possible. So you see it does get a little spicy. Those bolts, especially on Fortified, they just truck people. It's not an easy time. So, and you know, we did not time this dungeon, so there are going to be quite a few mistakes you'll see here during the rest of this dungeon, unfortunately. So here I died to the Spiteful. We're gonna go into the back. We pull these guys. And we're actually going to spawn Prideful here. So if you see my weak aura off to the side over here, right? This weak aura right here, when this part glows red, it says that Prideful is going to be spawning. It'll also show you like how much percent you're going to be getting from this and that kind of thing, right? So here, we actually almost wipe here, if I remember right. Yep, we almost wipe. So what happens here, I don't know if you guys saw that. So what happens here, right, is the big dude shoots out slimes that you have to step over so they don't become big slimes, right? Well, our hunter goes to step on them with his turtle. But what happens is the boss was right over here, right? So he didn't want to aggro it, so he hesitates, right? And if I remember, like barely hits on it or whatever. Well, because of that, right? He dies. We get the battle res off, but we just fall so far behind on Prideful because, you know, we're already at 11 stacks and he's barely used anything, right? So here, like, if I remember right, actually, the mage actually uses combustion here, I'm pretty sure. But you can see here, right, I'm way behind, right? I have little mana. I believe he just used Innervate. I'm pretty sure I actually die here. So for us to get through Prideful, we actually pop, we actually pop the Hunter CD and the Mage cooldown. And the Paladin actually just solos him the rest of the way. We almost full wipe, right? But what ends up happening is we lose a lot of buff time from Prideful for this boss. It's not super needed, but it is pretty nice to have. So Paladin kills it. This is probably, like, we missed this timer so little. Any of these wipes that you see here, or any of these deaths, is what could cause us to get this 18 on time, if I remember right. But you see here, we lose a good 20-25 seconds on Prideful alone. So finally get everyone up, and we just go into boss. Your goal, especially on Fortified, is really just to burn this boss as much as possible. Most groups, what you'll actually see them do is after he does his first jump, he'll spawn your explosive ad and your congealed slime. And that congealed slime is usually knocked back and frost trapped or CC'd in some way so that it doesn't affect anything around it. And you can actually pump boss and the explosive and not deal with the damage reduction. So you'll actually see that here, I'm pretty sure, right? Yep. So you see here, he knocks it back. He frost traps it. Now, as long as you don't get Purge of the Wicked from Penance on him during that time, he stays CC'd, right? Here, you want to be focusing that explosive, right? This isn't MDI. We're not all fucking, like, great players and stuff, right? So we're here just, all right, kill explosive, switch to boss, right? The boss is going to do another jump. There it goes. And sometimes you can actually get it to, you can actually do enough damage to where, especially if you, like, pump really hard, you can actually do enough damage to phase him twice, like, back to back. That's like one of your most ideal situations. So here, yep. So here, unfortunately, they had to root the slime, right? Which is another form of CC. That's fine. But it's not a hard CC, so it's still there. But you just need to watch it. And here we pretty much just burn boss at this point. I'm pretty sure we actually get really close to not. There it is, yep. So, kill boss, pretty easy. So we come down here, kill a slime, kill the ad, and then we go into this middle platform. Most groups you'll see will go into that middle platform because a lot of those guys are low health. You can do quite a bit of damage, and it's not an easy pack, especially on a week like this of Spiteful, where you have little room on the platform. These guys are already, like, low health, so if you burn them really fast, all of a sudden you have like 5-6 Pridefuls or Spitefuls around. I'm actually pretty sure I almost died to that. So you see here, I changed my camera angle so that I can see how far away that Spiteful is every time. It's something I find useful, right? Is just to do that. It makes it pretty easy. And then you just continue on the dungeon. Kill this guy. Biggest things to watch out for during this area is honestly the stealthlings. I think that's what they're called. If those guys get a jump on people, especially on a fortified week or an enraging week or that kind of thing, you're dead, right? I'm pretty sure it actually happens here. So you see the stealthlings over here. Your goal is to just freaking kill them, right? Kill them, interrupt them. You see they all jump on me and I die. There's no way around it, right? You see each ambush was hitting for 13k. 13k for 12.9k for each one, right? You get 4 to 5 of them. If you get one, it's okay. 4 to 5 of them, you're just dead, right? So I could have gone on there. I could have gone in there. I could have feared probably. I could have Shining Force maybe to interrupt them, that kind of thing. But I was more worried of just like getting people healed up. So, you know, that partially is my bad. Here you see misplays all Volcanic for me and stuff. It happens. Here you see, you know, Shadow Word Death. One of the most useful things you could probably do in dungeons is using Shadow Word Death. Same thing in PvP. You know, I can't tell you how many killing blows I get just from using Shadow Word Death. It hits really good. It's a nice finisher. It's just a good way to go. So here we kite this guy as much as possible, right? And we're just really trying to stay alive. So, and we actually lose a lot of time from this as well, right? We lose, I mean, you're looking at, we've lost probably at least a minute just from having to kite this and everything because our tank died. So then we go into this one. This is actually going to spawn Prideful in the middle of this pack, if I'm right. I think we have like maybe one ad left or something when this happens. So there's another, like, all three of these packs, they can be, especially on Fortified, can be very, very dangerous. So you gotta look out for that. Yeah, so we actually get we're actually gonna get Prideful with the sniper still alive. I think. I don't know. This was like a week ago, guys. So like, you know. Yep. So here's Prideful. We still have Sniper. That's okay. Right. The other thing to learn with Pridefuls too, especially if you're in voice with your team, is don't be afraid to say like, "Hey, use Barkskin. Use your personals." That's a big thing, especially with teams that you're looking to move forward with, to do that with. So here you actually see the mage actually combusting. Like I said, your DPS have to use CDs on that, right? So you see me, I say a lot. I'm so sorry, guys. But you see I PI the mage, so he gets more crits, more spells out. Perfectly good. You see here I'm low on mana, and then we're gonna go into the boss. Now this boss on an 18 on Fortified is still a doozy, right? She still lasts forever. Not as bad as the last boss, but we're actually at a decent time here for the most part. If we kill the bosses fast enough. The last boss usually takes like, I think 2 to 3 minutes depending. So you just have to burn. You see here we're at like 82%, so I'm pretty sure you have to go down with 84. I've noticed with a lot of dungeons, last areas are usually around, another 20%, 15 to 20%. So just keep that in mind. So one trick here with this boss, if you wanted to, if you have the time, when your team isn't dying, is when the assassins come out, you can actually mass dispel an area and pop them out. What the mage actually does here is, if I remember right, the mage actually does a mirror image point, where what they do is they spawn their mirror images, and the mirror images are actually the ones that get them out. I don't know exactly how it works, but something along the lines of what I said with your mirror images. So if you have a mage, cool. Don't forget that on this boss, when you get ambushed, you want to move out. Should probably use CD. I probably should have used Fade and probably Desperate Prayer just to be a little bit safe. But you want to use a CD on that, especially on Tyrannical. It's going to hit like a Mack truck. But you step out, you're going to take a hit, and then you're going to come back in. With this boss, you want to be stacked with your team as much as possible. So here, I actually pain set myself so I can survive, right? Then you see everyone come to me so that I'm not by myself, and then we stay loosely-ish stacked. And then essentially from here, we're just burning boss as much as possible. As you can see here, like this boss is actually living for quite a bit. We actually go through, what was that, 2 or 3 assassin phases. The other thing you can do here too is you can grip the person after they take their hit to stack everyone back up together nice and all nice like. So here we actually go down. We're gonna pull slimes. This is where you can get a little bit extra percentage. Slimes are a bit rough, but that's okay. Yep. And unfortunately, there's just nothing I could really do with that. The druid was out of line of sight, so I just had to. It was die or let everyone else die. So, like I said, I ain't the best player. I just do what I can. So from here, we pretty much can't make timer. 4 minutes, unless you are like amazeballs. We weren't gonna make this with the amount of scrubs that we have. We didn't make this timer, but that's okay. So you kill these 2 adds here, or 2 things here. Move down. What we do is we actually skip around the side. So I use my Door of Shadows and stuff. I know I skipped over it, but I use the Door of Shadows, skip over to the side. We kill these 2 skeleton packs here. So you can actually see it here, right? We skip where the mini boss is. We kill the 2 skeleton groups, and then we go into the main one. This helps with transitions and stuff. He actually doesn't move all over the place when you do that. He pretty much will disappear and be like, oh shoot, and then just be almost right back where he was. So the goal here is to kill those 2 packs. Then you're gonna move up to the front here, and then you're pretty much just going to, your tank's gonna kite what they can and just kill everything. Having AoE here is huge. And as you can see with Spiteful here, there's a ton of Spiteful that pops. So having range really does help here. So here you actually see me go in to Shining Force it back. Probably wasn't the best move, but it's a move I did. Alright. So look out for that. And then from here, pretty much you kill the Devoted. As you can see here, he teleports, but he teleports us right back to where he was, right? If we had the skeleton still up with all the individual packs, he would have gone to every single pack. It's just a time waster, really. So most groups you'll see nowadays are slightly coordinated. They'll actually skip around and kill the 2 skeleton packs before they go into the big pack. So here, we finish them off real quick. We only have, it's a really close timer. We actually, it's like, what, 3 minutes? So we still have Prideful that we still have to kill. Here's Pride. So Prideful on this last boss should carry, Prideful buff alone should carry you through the first phase of the boss. Second phase, you want to use CDs or Lust. And then last phase, you use CDs or Lust. Generally, what I see is you'll see a Lust on last phase, because last phase can be the hardest. There has been a nerf to Plaguefall now, but at the time of this recording, it was not. So here, one thing to try and work on when you're dealing with Prideful especially, is you want to game your Twist of Fate. So you actually see here, if you heal someone below 35 or 30, I think it's 35%, you get a huge damage and healing increase. So what you want to try and do is you actually want to time your mind games for when you get Twist of Fate proc. So what I generally will do is I'll wait until someone takes, or what I've tried to do is I'll wait till someone goes below 35%. I'll do a Radiance, so I get a Radiance charge out, and then I'll do a mind games. And I usually do that also when you're a bit lower in the health percentage. So here you see we get an Infectious Rain. But the best way to handle Infectious Rain, at least the little bit that I've done, is you want to wait until you get 4 stacks, or wait until everyone gets 4 stacks, dispel yourself, and you're just healing everyone up in the meantime. You only get 1 dispel off, unfortunately, but it reduces your everyone's overall damage taken, or it reduces the damage taken so that you can focus on everyone else and just dispel yourself. If you have a paladin or something, they can also dispel, which is pretty nice. Woo! I got a hot wife, dude. So here, you see the boss come back up. So you see here actually also that the druid uses their celestial alignment during this to try and push us. Mage just used combust. I use barrier for this next one. I'm pretty sure, yep, I actually died because I stepped into volcanic like an idiot. Wait for res. Heal everyone up. I'm pretty sure we actually get a second Infectious Rain here. So this is like kind of actually bad. Yep. So I'm just healing as much as possible. I actually pop Rapture here to kind of like just save us. As you can see here, right? Infectious Rain it just trucks. So here, the best way to handle this one is to just find out where the first one is and go to the next side of it that's empty, and you have very little movement you'll have to do after that. So this is actually going to be a really tough situation that we're going to go into this last phase with, right? I have only Power Infusion left as a CD, technically, and Pain Sup, and we pop Lust here. I'm kind of low on health, but that's okay. I use a Radiance Charge. We have Infectious Rain go out, and here I'm just Shadow Mending for my life. I get the Dispel off on myself. I Power Infusion the Hunter here, and I'm pretty much at this point just praying that we kill it. You actually see here we are 20 seconds over timer so far. So as you see, 21 seconds over timer, and we were pretty close, but that is 18 Plaguefall. Any one of our wipes could have saved us that 21 seconds, really. So otherwise, pretty fun dungeon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I know this is going to be a bit of a long one, but let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can also check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/wakemylight, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!